Welcome back. We're in the final segment now for Mid Morning Talk this Monday, 14th February. And yes, we are speaking about what costs to go off the grid. Last week and the week before, we again had to endure load shedding, and it just gets frustrating, messes up your day, and everybody has now some form of backup. However, people need a reliable power source, and many households are now, I think this discussion, people are also now weighing up, giving up their dream holiday vacation, once in a lifetime cruise, or probably the bucket list, saying I can hold on with my bucket list and my savings of what I'm saving towards on my bucket list of doing an activity or visiting a place. Going to hold on, because we need to now invest those funds for a more reliable, sustainable, and if you're environmentally conscious person, a more energy efficient, cleaner a way of a alternate power source. But yes, everything has a cost. So that is what. So my question is, and that's why we have our expert joining us shortly, will be Ralph Berold, and we're going to be speaking about what will it cost a typical South African household to get off the grid and rely on solar power and maybe battery power as alternate power sources, and how feasible it is. And when you think of heavy duty appliances such as running your washing machine every day, probably in winter a tumble dryer, you've got your fridge, you've got you need to run your microwave. What about heating systems? Do you use a combination then of gas, and how expensive it will be, and after how many years will then uh, the investment in terms of an alternate power source pay itself off, being totally off the grid? And so is it feasible? Because this is the conversation I've been having in my household, and I'm sure many of you are having this conversation, that if we go totally off the grid, what would be the upfront cost, and how practical, and would we have to give up some of our modcons that they use high energy consumption, so in terms of consumption, or then buy energy consumption energy rating products that are the triple rated? And what are these products? What does it mean if it's a triple rated product, or different pluses? Because now if you visit appliance stores, you see these energy ratings in this. So we're going to be joined shortly by Ralph Berold. He's the founder of Sunships Technologies, and he's going to be giving us all the information in terms of how to be off the grid and be independent of Eskom. And this is not only for households but for businesses as well. Let's take a short break, and when we get back, I'm sure Ralph should be on the line. He's just busy connecting with us.
Alhamdulillah, we are finally free of riba. Berkat smells lovely.
Yeah, with Yakin, I managed to stop all the
He's on the
riba.
phone. Is he doing some action?
This insurance price is going up again.
Oh, we are not free of riba, Babu.
Then if he can't join, he must just go
That
telephonic.
insurance, Hajo. You know how bad it is with all the crime
tell him.
and the accidents.
Have a little
Is he on?
yakin now, Babu.
Yeah, man, I do have a little Yakin, but I wish there was a way to leave all these riba insurance companies.
It's the same link. Just check again. Let's go with on issues again, please. Did you join me?
Yeah, you're on.
I'm on the right one. Yes, Ralph.
Okay, let me call him again.
Ask him if he's not. Can we just call him telephonically, please?
786
Just tell him if he's not on.
Amana,
Put his
leave
phone down.
riba
You
for
call him
good.
via his
Amana
telephone, and
IFS,
here's the
registered
number.
financial
There's
services
Ralph's number.
provider.
Yeah.
Let me get the picture first.
Yeah, just get it solar picture. Must I send it to you?
Can you?
I got this article one. Yeah.
Okay, I messaged it. He sent me a message. He says, can we give him a minute, literally?
Yeah, just guess.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones,
Okay, just
you
get a
need to
picture
make
in
smart
case.
choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make.
Oh, I'm so
It's naturally
disappointed about that
cholesterol-free
thing.
and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation
Can't you
as part
check
of a balanced
properly?
eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting
You saw
results
it, Ben,
that'll
for
get their
you.
attention
This
faster
one
than the
is Jan
latest
for
app.
you. That
And
Ben
if
for you
that
was the
doesn't work,
40s.
change the Wi-Fi
It
password.
was the crop.
Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
Willowton Group, manufacturers of Sunfoil, Sunshine D, and Delight, supports the Stay Home, Save South Africa campaign and calls for all South Africans to heed the call to help stop the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Practice social distancing, wash your hands regularly with soap, avoid touching your face, and cough and sneeze into your elbow or into a tissue and throw it away immediately. Together we can beat this. Together we have hope. Visit sacoronavirus.co.za for more information.
Is he on?
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands.
Yeah, just
Salam
play
Media.
something.
Humanity sets the agenda. Boom, boom, boom.
A little boy went first day at school. He got some crayons and he started to draw. He put colors all over the paper, for colors was what he saw. The teacher said, "What you doing, young man?"
I'm painting flowers, see?
Well, this is not the time for art, young man. And anyway, flowers are green and red. There's a time for everything, young man. A way things should be done. You got to show concern for everyone else. You're not the only one. And she said, flowers are red, green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. But the little boy said,
there are so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone.
Well, the teacher said, you're sassy. There's a way that things should be, and you'll paint flowers the way they are. So repeat after me. She said, flowers are red, green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. But the little boy said again,
Anyway, this is time wasting. This thing, how are we going to end? They only got 5 minutes left.
Morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone.
You call him so long while he's getting the picture. Here's his number. 083
she said, it's for your own good,
891
and you won't come out till you get it
8071.
right, responding like you should. Well, finally he got lonely. Frightening thoughts filled his head.
Is it Berold or Berold? Berold.
And this is what he said.
Okay, put
Hi, Ralph. I'm just going to place you on hold, right? And then we'll go on it.
Green. There's no need to see flowers any other
But then
way
it's on the tip, we can hear you perfectly.
than the way they always have
Okay,
been.
I'm ready. Put the station ID. Station.
Well, time went by like it always does. He moved to another town.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Welcome back. Tuned in to Mid Morning Talk with me, your host Mariam Mia. And finally, we have Ralph Berold on the line, and he's founder of Sunship Technologies. And as I discussed in our introduction, we're going to be discussing what is the cost for a household or even a small business to get off the grid and use an alternate power source. So good afternoon, Ralph, and welcome to Mid Morning Talk here on Salam Media.
Great, thanks. Nice to be here. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Not at all. So tell me, families are sitting, and I just said many families I know are now discussing an investment. In fact, bucket lists are put on hold, and rather families are now looking to invest money in a more reliable and I think cleaner technology as a power source. So, how do we get started, and what should we be considering for our households if we want to invest in alternate power sources, and what types? So, what are the questions that we should be, and how should we navigate this process?
Sure. No, thank you. We talk on a daily basis to homeowners, and the two requirements primarily. One is one is that there's a need for backup power options, and that's there are many ways you can do that, but the best way to do that is using a good lithium-ion battery. And the other requirement often that people have is that is for a solar system which can feed into your house distribution board, and that plays a different function. So, backup power system will keep you going during load shedding, and a solar system will, over a long period of time, be able to reduce your electricity costs that you pay on a monthly basis. So, we sell products that have that do both of those things. We can also invest more and do a hybrid system, which basically will produce solar energy, but also store power and is available for you when you need it. So, off the grid. So, there's many ways to do this, and many kinds of investments you can make. And you can start at 10,000 or 20,000 rand, going up to 100,000 or 200,000 rand, depending on what you're trying to do and the needs that you have for a particular house. So the key question to ask is really around what problem am I trying to solve? Am I trying to solve for load shedding, to have power available during load shedding? Many people will use a generator, but lithium battery with a good inverter can do just the same as a generator would do. And the other problem is trying to solve is really around rising electricity costs long term, which are obviously stressing us all out. And it's quite unpredictable where electricity prices are going. So any investment you make into solar will be able to reduce your consumption from the grid, and therefore basically hedge your price exposure going forward, for a portion or even up to 100% of your electricity requirements.
So I like what you said in terms of this is to discuss what problem I'm trying to resolve. So if it's a short-term backup problem, obviously then you said a lithium battery and an inverter. If you want to reduce consumption, that is where you're heading, then maybe a blended for now. So solar with a combination of then getting electricity through Eskom and that. So it's basically what are your needs and then working around this. So tell me, if you decide to go for a blended system for now, because this is what you can afford, can you always later then just invest a lot more into the solar and into the batteries until you find yourself totally off the grid? Can you do this then as a process as you accumulate funds?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to think about it. It's a phased investment. Whether you start with smaller systems and build up as you go, or whether you start with a bigger inverter, like a 3 or 5 kVA inverter, and then add more solar panels as you want to, and also add more batteries as you need to. So we use that kind of system size, 3 kVA and 5 kVA for a house, and we find that that's usually able to supply most of the services that you need in a house. So, with the exception of an electric oven, electric stove, or also things like a pool pump, etc. But for most things, for your lighting, for your electronics, for your daily requirements during load shedding, your essential requirements, you'll be fine with the 3,000 watts available power. And you can, that's one recommendation that I could say: get a good, decent inverter and wire it in your home so that part of your distribution board is covered by the batteries, and part of it is non-essential, so non-batteries. Therefore, you're not running down your battery with the pool pump or any other higher loads. So you're really using the battery system for your essential loads. So for continuing to work, do homework in the evenings, etc., etc. That's the best way to think about it. In terms of investment longer term, you can definitely invest longer term in more batteries if you need them. Better batteries, also battery technology is evolving fast, so you can put in better batteries as they become cheaper in the coming years. You can also invest in solar. You can start with small panels, small system of maybe 4 panels, maybe 1 kilowatt of solar, which is 4 panels. You could also go up on the annual basis. You could put more and more solar in. You find that when you invest in solar panels, they generally will have a very good return on investment because you're effectively not having to buy the same energy from the grid. And as we know, the grid power is going up very fast. So, to my estimation, you'll be able to get 15% annual return of investment on your panels on any rand you put into solar for a period of 25 years or even longer. So that's a very good investment to think about it compared to another investment you might make with the same rand.
Yes, and then one question I'd like to ask you, which you mentioned a very important word when you spoke about lithium batteries early in our conversation. You said a good quality lithium battery. Does the qualities vary, and do they have an impact in terms of the usage and power that it generates? So are there different brands on the market? What essentially constitutes a good quality lithium battery?
Right. Well, there's sort of three key components to think about. One is the actual battery itself, and there are many good quality brands on the market that will sell you a 48 volt battery. That's the normal voltage you would typically use for a typical home inverter. So there's many options. We actually sell batteries as a combined, something called a power box, which includes the inverters and all the switchgear and the monitoring system as well. But you can also buy batteries separately from different suppliers. So, as long as the typical chemistry you want to look out for is lithium ion or lithium iron phosphate, and those are just, they have a much longer life and a better performance than the lead acid batteries or gel batteries or carbon batteries, the typical batteries we use in our vehicles. The lithium batteries generally are, they have a much longer life. You want to ask for something which has more than 3,000 cycles at 100% depth of discharge. So that means that typically it should last, if you're cycling it every day, it should last for more than 8 years. If you're cycling it once, it should definitely last for 12, 15 years. So that's the kind of investment that I would encourage. And then, the second piece is the actual inverter. Get a good brand name inverter. We use Victron, which is very proven, tried and tested. There are many other inverter brands in the market. And the third point, which I really want to emphasize, is that whoever's installing the system for you should do a good design of that. Should also be available if the actual technology is not working. So, you want someone who is a trustworthy installer who is available to assist you even a couple of years down the road when you have problems, which invariably may happen. So really, you don't want to have a system that you've invested in and then, you never see the guys again. So that's another piece of advice I can give to your listeners.
Yes, as with anything, after sales service is priceless, and sometimes it's worth paying a little more, but you're getting the after sale backups. So thank you so much for that. I mean, you've given us a lot to think about, provide us with insight, and also you've given us direction in terms of how to start conversations in what questions we should be asking on our journey towards alternate power sources. Much appreciate your time here on Salam Media, and hopefully we can speak to you again in the future who knows, as new technologies come about, and because this technology is a growing technology, hopefully the prices will come down and it will become a lot more affordable to then increase, as you say, phase in and increase until you can have that dream totally off the grid way of life. So I think that's what everybody aspires to now, with erratic power supply and the high cost of it is going totally off the grid. Thanks so much, Ralph, and you go well and have a good day.
Thank you so much. Good day. Cheers.
It's a pleasure, and that brings us to the end of mid-morning talk on this Monday afternoon now, 14th of February. Enjoy your day, and hopefully we are going to be in each other's company. And next week, Monday, same time, same place. May you be under the mercy and the blessings of the Almighty. Peace and blessings.